Smart Agriculture webinar. What is the sense, what is the most important challenge that the mankind is facing right now? The most important challenge is that the human population will be around 10 billion people by 2050. So the agriculture must feed 70% more people than we are doing right now. The arable land is very limited in the world. Only 13% in global terms are arable land. It's not expected a big growth of the arable land in the world. So the productivity must increase by 65 or 70% in the very next 30 years. For assuring the alimentary security in the world, the United Nations, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the World Bank, and some other international agencies, they have declared the 3 pillars where the alimentary security is based on. First of all, training the farmers, training the people involved in the agriculture. The second one is to establish local actions, not only talk about global actions and global things, but go directly to the field in establishing local actions. And the third one, that is our business, is to apply the smart agriculture techniques. Wireless sensing is one of the most important techniques of smart agriculture, of course, with the infrared photograph, the use of drones, the mapping, etc. But usually, always wireless sensing is involved in any project of smart agriculture in the world. Smart agriculture solutions can be applied not only for the vineyards or the high-cost fruits, as we are always saying in the world, but also are very important for normal crops like cereals, potatoes, tomatoes, normal greenhouse, etc. The most important challenges we can work is, first of all, the problem of the training of the farmers. I mean, we can get some data that will help these non-trained people to take the right decisions. We need some cost-effective products or equips for giving this data, because usually the agriculture business or the agriculture farmer is working in a very low budget with just a few employees, very little companies. And we are facing another important challenge, that is the climatic change in the world. That is not only negative, sometimes it's positive. For example, they are growing an interest in vineyards in England right now. 25 years ago, it was completely impossible to grow a vineyard in England because of the weather. Now the weather is changing. And this change of the climatic zone in England is allowing us to open new business and to get new crops, completely unknowns in the area. And the other one important is that some pests can ruin the entire harvest. And we need to fight against the pest, but not in any way. We need to fight against the pest using techniques that are respecting the environment. So knowing exactly what is the condition of the crop, what is the condition of the field, what is the weather like, is really important, is a must for developing a smart crop. We are working in smart agriculture for more than 10 years, and we have developed a whole range of sensors and a whole range of equips for developing almost any technique in any kind of crop. So let's go deeply into the catalog for seeing, first of all, what Libelium is offering in the smart agriculture market niche. We can make an approach in 3 different ways. First of all, we can make an approach using our vertical kits or the kits we have developed with our partners. The second one is to make an approach using our plug and sense devices or encapsulated line that is ready to be deployed outdoors. And we have a third way for the approach, that is designing around equips of hardware using our communication platform. This is, of course, for advanced users. So first of all, we need to know these 3 options. We will go deeply for the first two of them, and the OEM we will keep for the advanced users. We have developed an interesting market smart agriculture kit that is very useful when you need to make a small proof of concept, or even make a real deployment in a small farm. In this kit, you will find all the material, all the hardware you need for making this project. You can monitor the most important parameters that are the solar radiation, the soil moisture, temperature, humidity, and pressure. You have also a whole weather station, temperature probe for the soil, and you have two nodes complete with all the sensors, and you have the measuring gateway for getting the data. You get also free access 100 times, 100 logins to our measuring visualizer for you to see directly the data you are taking from the nodes. If we go directly to the plug and sense in the smart agriculture line, first of all, for choosing the right product, you need to decide what is the best communication protocol for your project. What communication protocol you will use? What is best? What is worst? It's not so easy. There's not a thumb rule for choosing the communication protocol. I mean, depending on the number of nodes, depending on the distance between the nodes and between the nodes and the gateway, if any, you can choose one or the other. In other parts of this distribution webinar, we will go deeply to the techniques for choosing the right communication protocol. After you have decided the communication protocol, you must choose which sensors you will connect to the device. So on the page of the catalog, you will find 6 sensors you can connect in 6 different sockets. But you cannot connect any sensor to any socket. You must respect the compatibility between the sockets and the sensors, and the compatibility of the sensors among them. So, for example, if you want to connect the temperature, humidity, and pressure, that is the first one, you only can connect this sensor in the sockets D or F. Please respect this, because it's completely impossible to connect in the socket A and making the equip work. So this is really important. You must respect this table. This table will tell you which sensors connect in which socket. And this is the reason why we have 2 different models. First, the Smart Agriculture, and after we have another model that is the Smart Agriculture Pro. What is the difference? Is one better than the other? No, it's completely different, because the sensors you can connect to the Smart Agriculture Pro are, some of them, completely different. For example, you can connect to the Smart Agriculture Pro the solar radiation or the ultraviolet radiation sensors and the dendrometers. These sensors cannot be connected to the Smart Agriculture non-Pro. You cannot mix the sensors for one to the other equip. I mean, if one of the sensors is only available for a Smart Agriculture Pro, you need a Smart Agriculture Pro. Okay? After you have decided which sensors and in which socket you will connect, you need to power electrically the unit. And for that, you go to the power options, and you can see, usually in a project of Smart Agriculture, the sensors are powered by an external solar panel. The external solar panel is available for all our product range, but is very useful for the deployments in outdoors in the middle of a field. But remember that you need to install the solar panel in an area where it's isolated. I mean, a solar panel is for receiving the light of the sun. Don't worry if you cannot receive a lot of hours and very strong sun, because the battery is a charged battery in an agricultural project will last some months. I mean, if 2-3 days is cloudy, don't be afraid. The equipment will work properly without any problem. Okay? As I mentioned previously, you need to extract the data. Some communication protocol, like 4G, like a Wi-Fi, permit you to allow you to take directly the data from the nodes to the cloud. For the others, based in radio communication, 802.15.4.868 or 900 megahertz, you need to install a gateway Libelium. The gateway Libelium is receiving the data from the nodes and is uploading this information to the cloud pre-programming. So here in the next page, you can read the most important features of the Libelium gateway. It's easy to install. It's easy to maintain. Don't forget that the Libelium must be connected to the mines. It's not possible to make working the Libelium with a solar panel. You need to be connected to the mains. Is IP65 is certified in the most important and bigger areas in the world. And on the next page, you can see a graphic about the basic architecture of the solution. The nodes communicate with the gateway, and the gateway is uploading using MySQL protocol directly to any cloud. Some cloud systems are already integrated in our Libelium agent. I mean, you don't need to make any other integration work. You don't need to write any software. Just connect to the Libelium, choose the cloud you want to send all the data, write your credentials, and you are immediately sending the data to the clouds. Of course, Libelium has some different versions depending on the area of the world where you are based, and you have some basic models for basically Europe, for USA, Brazil, Australia, that are the most important areas for the phone coverage. All the Libelium have two connections to internet. One is wired, and the other one is using the 4G built-in inside. Let's have a short overview about the IoT Marketplace. What kind of smart agriculture kits we are offering in our marketplace? First of all, we have our own vertical kit that we have seen when we have seen the catalog, but we have also 12 different kits we have developed with our partners. In these kits, for example, this one, you can find a bill of materials about the hardware we are including in the kit, but also some information about our partner. This, for example, is offering a free trial of 90 days for the software platform. It's a really good approach to the product, not only to the hardware of Libelium, but also to the final application. You can make a proof of concept or a demo or showing to your customer, or making some test using a cloud, using a software platform, and using the hardware you will keep. So from our point of view is to have, with a very contained price and with a very cost-effective solution, an approach to the market very easy for you to understand the technology. At the end of the page, you will find a link to our website where you can find all the documentation, the technical guide of the WASMO, the technical guides of the sensors. Here you can choose the agriculture board, and here you can go directly to the technical guide of the agriculture board. And here you can download all the information about the sensor, about accuracy, the range, etc. Any data you will need. So another interesting thing you can find in our website is going to the case studies. We have developed a really, go here to the search engine. Here you can find a lot of case studies we have developed about smart agriculture, where you can find some cases related to fruits, related to cereals, related to even to marijuana, some other crops. So you can get a lot of information. The case study is an important weapon for the sales department, because it's easy to understand for the customers, and it's easy to replicate a case study. If we have some customers in the vineyards market niche, it's easy for you in any other country to replicate this kind of business. So that's why I always tell you that the case study is the most powerful sales weapon that we have. Besides the case studies, I want to have an overview about some other cases that I think that are interesting and you must think about for research and in your own market. There are some interesting projects for monitoring the attack of pests. One of the most important niches in this market is monitoring the pests in vineyards, but also some interesting projects with palms, with tomato, industrial tomato, and some other crops. The aim of the project is reducing the cost, reducing the phytosanitary cost, reducing the number of treatments, of course, reducing the ambient impact, but also reducing the insurance premium. In a vineyard, you need to pay a big insurance premium, and if you are monitoring the attack of the pest, you can get a reduction on this premium. Of course, reducing the irrigation cost, that is water and energy. This is really a lot of money. And monitoring the evapotranspiration helps the enologist, the farmer, to improve the quality of the grapes and, of course, the quality of the wines. With the data they have obtained in the area, they are making some forecasting models, and they can give you an approach to the risk you have of suffering the attack of a pest. So if the risk is 20-25%, you of course don't need to apply any treatment, any phytosanitary preventive treatment. But if the risk is high, so let's say 70-75%, you must do. But in some areas of the world, it's mandatory to have these studies or an agronomical engineer certification for before making a spray. And besides, if you want to apply a phytosanitary product, you need to have in your hands all the meteorological data. You cannot do if the wind is strong. You cannot do if tomorrow will have rain, and some other things that are related to the meteorological parameters. Arriving early to the market, arriving in the right moment. I gave an example. The price of the strawberries in 2017 in Spain for a box was 4 euros in early February. In May, the price of the same box of the strawberries was just 0.75 euros. The price of the water, the price of the people that picked the strawberries, the price of the trucks, the price of the box was exactly the same. Only the profit was lower. So monitoring intensively the conditions and adopting the right decision can help you to arrive earlier to the market. And sometimes arriving early to the market makes a big difference, and you need to know. Another interesting market niche is the fourth or even the fifth generation vegetables that are these beautiful salads or arugula or something like that that we buy in a supermarket inside a bag. It's washed, it's clean, it's just open, give some salt and olive oil, and you can eat. This is a very fast growing business, and it's meant to be the most profitable legal crop in the world. To develop a prevention for these plant diseases, to improve the healthiness and the quality of the production, and to minimize the use of fertilizer and chemicals in this agricultural yield is the aim of the project. You can read an interesting case study in our website. Some others, the main goal of a grower of marijuana is to have two crops instead of one. In the nature, marijuana makes only one crop a year. And if you modify the conditions of temperature, humidity, light, and the content of CO2 in the air, and some other parameters, if you can modify these parameters, you can get two crops. I mean, you can get a double benefit using exactly the same land that you are using for one crop. Wireless sensing networks can be used also for monitoring irrigation, not only for crops, not only for production of vegetables, but also for parks and urban greens, for sportive turf, for golf turfs, recreation green areas, and some other urban vegetable gardens. For example, we are living in Spain, that is a dry country with more than 400 golf courses. Usually, we are deploying two nodes in each hole, one for the fairway and another for the green. We are monitoring the soil temperature and moisture at two different depths. One is the surface level, and the other is deeper, drainage level, 25 to 30 centimeters. And we are, of course, monitoring the meteorological parameters. Monitoring this, the golf course can save water up to 30%. That is a lot of money, and it's good for the environment. In some countries, even it's mandatory, like in Spain or in Australia, to use wastewater for the irrigation of golf courses. Monitoring the irrigation water is even more important because you need to know the temperature, the conductivity, or the pH of the water you are using for the irrigation of the turf. A preventive action of the water will help to avoid a problem in the grass. Just imagine that the conductivity, I mean the salinity of the water, is higher than the recommended for the turf. You can ruin the turf in just a couple of days. Saving water in a city is really important, and monitoring the irrigation of the parks is one of the most important tasks, because even the grass only covers the 40% of the surface of the city. 90% of the grass of the water that the municipality is consuming is used for the irrigation of the parks. The smart design of the urban green areas must include the right composition of the soil, of course, the right choice of the plant, but also monitoring the soil moisture and the meteorological parameters. I have seen a lot of times, really a lot of times, to make an artificial irrigation in a park while it's heavy raining. With a technique like that, you can save up to 40% of the water. So after that, and as a resume, besides the basic parameters that are the meteorological, the temperature and the humidity of the soil, and some others, we have some other sensors that are not so common, like ultraviolet sensor used for flower and other crops, the dendrometers used for the tropical fruits, and some others that you can get in your catalog or asking to the sales agent. So finally, smart agriculture is a huge market with some interesting opportunity. We have a full range of sensors for monitoring more or less all the parameters. So my tip is research your local market, because the European market is completely different than the Asiatic or the American market. Show your customers or case studies, make your proof of concepts, and let's power together the IoT revolution in agriculture too.